So I just went out and bought some line, and I went, yeah, screw it. I'll respool them now. I've got time, and then I just didn't realize the time.
Yeah, no, I know. God forbid. I tell you, I'm actually having one of those pleasantly relaxing Sundays. In fact,
What?
well, I've also been very busy this morning because I've been because now that I'm part of the junior rugby club committee,
Nice.
I'm the health and safety officer, and of course I got given yesterday for the fundraiser. I got given the folder, as it's called, which is what the
Blimey.
previous health and safety officer had, and it's full of crap that is old, like from 2 years ago. That in fact, for 3 years ago, and there's nothing up to date or anything like that. So
That's
I'm
exactly
I'm
what you want. Health and
digitizing.
safety.
I'm digitizing crap. Let's just put it that way, because it's ridiculous.
That's the funniest thing. I always find that funny about a lot of these health and safety ones. Is like we've done it. That's all we have to do. You're like, you do realize that you've got to keep going. Like it's not one of those things that just magically
Yeah,
updates itself. But
absolutely. So yeah, I've been busy with that this morning. Knocked that all on the head, so it's all looking good now. But anyway, so apart from that, we're all good. Anyway,
you, mate.
Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dorks Down Under, the podcast where me and Des discuss everything that's going on in the dork world. And this is season 4, episode 7. And this week we're going to discuss one of 2025's newest releases, Back in Action, starring Cameron Diaz. And I forgot his name.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, that's it. I was about to say a completely other black actor, so that would have looked good. But before we get to that, hello, Des. How are we doing, so? How's it going?
Good, man. Good. I can't complain too much. We had Monday off, hence why randomly last week after we did the podcast, you had the other one already edited and stuff.
Yes.
Mainly because we had Monday off, which was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't done much. I've literally just watched movies. So Cherish has gone to bed about 8 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm just going to watch a movie. So I may have watched all 3. What was it? Deep Blue Sea.
Oh my god. Really?
Yeah, I felt like
Wait a minute.
one of
There's more than one? Wait a
there's 3. There's 3 in total.
No.
Yes.
I'm looking this up.
So obviously the original one has LL Cool J in it, just the total utter badass. And then one of them, I can't remember whether it's 2 or 3, is on like this little atoll. So
Yeah.
picture like the establishment from like Waterworld, where they're just kind of like this floating atoll, but then somehow directly underneath them is this huge, ridiculous canyon that has things in it. It is so dumb, and I loved every minute of it,
Oh god.
as only I can.
It looks terrible. They all look
Yeah.
terrible. My god.
Yes.
Why did they go any further than that? Than one? One was bad enough, let's be honest.
Yeah. I liked one. I like one with LL Cool J and stuff, and the premise was quite clever. And then they just kind of just milked it for the next 3, and every time even the actors that were in it went, oh, geez, that was bad, and they're just like, well, do you want to do a sequel? You're like, nah, not really, love. And then it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll get new actors for the even worse, cheaper sequel.
Yeah, no,
But yeah,
I definitely, yeah, absolutely not. No, I don't think I'll be watching them, my friend.
it was just one of those things that I saw one of them come out, and I was like, I haven't seen that in ages, and I was like, man, yeah, I'm like, I haven't seen that in ages, and I was like, maybe I should watch all 3. And I was like, screw it, let's just do that.
Well, for me, I've been busy doing poker. I'll say I ended up doing well this week. I came second, so I was happy about that because I've been in a bit of a rut the last few weeks with my poker. I've not been doing very well at all. I bought because we got another tournament coming up, and I bought some coin. What they're called? They're called card protectors. So these like metal coins that you can put on top of your card, so they can't get accidentally swept into the muck or anything like that.
Oh,
And of course, you know me, I don't do anything by half. And of course, the ones I found on Temu, I found a jokey set that are really funny and hilarious. Like one of them looks proper like a Vegas coin, like you would see, like a really proper coin. But on the back of it, it says, "I see nothing but donkeys." It has a donkey in the middle.
okay.
And then the one I used this week was Wetter is Better on one side with a mermaid woman, and then you flip it over and it's part of the Muff Divers Union.
Oh my god.
I had that, and people were like, "Can I have a look at it?" And then have a look, and they're like, "What?" And then they flipped the coin over and read Muff Divers Union. Like, right, okay. It was just,
Far
but
out.
yeah. So I did that. I did rather well. So I was very happy with that. But yeah, apart from that, and then helped with the rugby fundraiser this week as well. So I've been cooking. I was cooking on a barbecue for about 4 hours yesterday. Sort of getting things
Always good.
served up and whatnot. Watched a bit of rugby, and then but we went to we saw a bit of the blood moon on Friday. I don't know if you were able to catch any from Australia.
No, I
I don't. I
didn't.
think Australia might have been in the band. That it was just outside of the band to
Of
be.
course it was.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
but I saw we did see it. Obviously, the band we were in was more pink than red, because apparently America got like the red, like literally it was across every state. So that's not ominous whatsoever. No doubt Trump somehow claimed that he's responsible for it, or it's his lucky
Of
colour or
course.
something like that. Because season 2 of America is still going strong.
It is funny. Like the more you read, the more you're just like,
Oh,
wait, what?
it is stupid what is going on. But the other thing I have been watching, apart from watching back in action, I've been catching up on lots of my animes because I have about 15 on the go. And one of the animes that is is going to be, I believe it's going to be rated most popular one of the year so far is Solo Leveling. So about it, very good anime. Highly recommend it if you get a chance to watch it. About it, very good. It's actually greenlit a load of because everyone's been rating it so high and watching it. Like loads of mangas have now been approved for
Oh
development
God.
into animes because they're normally beforehand they weren't being pitched sort of thing or they wouldn't get past that stage and yeah. So it's gonna
That's
be
kind of cool.
yeah, it's good. It's good that one anime is starting to kick off a bit more and get more and more things in, which I think is quite good. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that it is such a big industry, and I do think that it's getting to that point now where it is risky just to go, I'll just try something new. So it is nice that you kind of get that
Mm.
a little bit of like a leg up, and yeah, they're able to then go, actually, no, we can franchise this. Let's go nuts.
Yeah. No.
And it just means though that you will not be short of yeah, of stuff to read if you actually like this. If you have no idea about it, then yeah,
Well,
you're still in the dark.
it's really funny because everyone's like, oh, because obviously, like they've been following the majority of the manga the same, but the fact is like the manga for Solo Leveling has, I think it has already had 300 books, I think. So there's already rich lore,
Oh wow.
yeah, it's already widely developed anyway, sort of thing. So, but of course it goes on to like the next arc and the next arc. There's lots of, it's like Dragon Ball Z, you just kept going and going
Oh
and going,
no.
sort of thing. So it's
Oh
got
no.
it's got plenty still to go. In fact, the latest episode I watched, I got up to date today because they release them in Japanese every Sunday. So I've been watching, good jumping ahead because I couldn't, it was ending on good cliffhangers. I'm like, oh, I need to switch to Japanese now so I can watch it. So I was watching it, and yeah, like today's one was really good, sort of thing, and it's ended on a very good cliffhanger. So I can't wait.
Bloody hell. Always bloody cliffhangers, man.
That's one complaint my son has when he's watching like the anime that we were watching, My Hero Academia,
Yeah.
which we watched that, and yeah, it's really it's really really funny because it's like of course every episode ends on a cliffhanger and he's like, for God's sakes. It's like,
Yeah.
no, just one more, Dad. No, I told you I told you it was the end of this one. So yeah, it's always good.
Kid, welcome to anime.
Right.
It's like a TV version of a cock tease.
Yes. Right. Shall we discuss
Hang
back in
on,
action?
first.
First.
Okay, there's some trivia for you.
Oh God. What?
No, Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz have been friends for 25 years. Name the 3 movies that they've appeared in.
Were they in a Charlie's Angels together?
Nope. So one was in 1999, which was their first one.
Oh God.
One was in 2014, which is the one that I didn't know. I knew they'd been in the first one in 1999,
Yeah.
but I didn't know the second one.
Ooh.
Okay, it also has the first one also has Al Pacino in it and is about football.
No. No idea.
So this is actually so over the last 25 years they've appeared in 3 films together. Any Given Sunday, absolute brilliant film if you like
Right.
American football. Obviously the new one that seems to be, it was weird because it hit #1 on Netflix and it was a bit of a sleeper, but everybody I know seems to have seen it. That's why when Jordan said, oh, I watched this. I was like, how have you not seen that? It seemed to be number one for ages, but back in action. And the little one that I didn't actually know of was Annie in
Oh,
2014.
the Annie remake. I've never seen the Annie remake, sort of thing.
Neither have I, but it seems like, yeah,
To be fair,
they were both in
I
that.
like the original, even though it is a musical. I enjoyed the original personally. But all right,
You know
okay.
which one I really like that I'm probably going to get laughed at. You remember a little known one with I think it was Tom Belushi? No, his name maybe Curly Sue.
Curly Sue, Jesus, that's
Do
a
you remember
throwback.
that?
Yes, I
That
have.
was such a fun
I think
film.
I've only ever seen it once, and that was a long time ago, sort of thing.
It's like
So
that,
yeah,
and that was more than enough.
yes, that was definitely more than enough for that. But yeah, so all in all, for those of you who haven't yet seen this movie, if you do and you want to skip, feel free. We'll come back to it when you've watched it. There is spoilers. So basically, back in action, tale of two spies. Cameron Diaz discovers she's pregnant, and they decide to get out of the work. And then basically cuts to 20 years later, and then they get pulled back in because their last mission actually wasn't finalized, and the things are all bad and blah blah blah. Now,
That
I
was the worst. That was the
it,
worst description
it's
of
it,
it.
honestly right. I'll tell you now. Right, was it an
No,
okay
so
movie to watch? Yes, but
it
this
was
I did not enjoy this movie.
really.
No, I actually think this was a poor rip-off of Mark Wahlberg's The Family Plan. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, but in this one, they were both. So obviously, they play Emily and Matt, who are two former CIA agents. They're posing as like in a relationship and a deep cover. One thing leads to another, and they kind of get a little bit too deep in cover into the married life. And then obviously, what happens is 20 years later. In what happens is during that, in their last mission, a critical piece of data goes missing. All of a sudden, people have gone, wait a minute, that's missing. We can't find it. Let's get them back. And then obviously they go after them thinking that they stole it. And
Yes.
that's when things ensue. Obviously, you got Cameron Diaz, you got Jamie Foxx. You've also got Glenn Close, who is absolutely friggin' brilliant in this
Yes.
film.
Glenn Close was good in this movie. Absolutely.
But I feel like this reminds me of like an early 2000-ish action film where it's not just like now modern day action films where there has to be explosions. You have to see the person's brains explode, otherwise they don't die. And I feel like it was that nice kind of step back where it wasn't as violent for the sakes of violence like many action films. And it is a really nice light watch. I didn't think it was as bad as what Jordan's probably going to make it out to be.
It it was
But I
poor.
mean,
It was so dull. It was so obvious as well with some of the jokes.
but
It
that's
was
the thing though. Some of it's meant to be a light action film. It's not meant to be like this like this is, oh, my name's Jason Stratham. What am I today? I'm a barista.
Oh
And
yeah,
then he starts killing
don't
people
get
with
me
milk jugs and
started
stuff.
on all the bloody Jason Statham movies that have come out. That
Yeah.
he's been typecast as the Rock now, and he just can't ever not be rough and ready and killing things and blah blah. I just don't. I'm falling out of love with Jason Statham. The more and more that all these movies, they're all terrible movies. It's all the same movie. It's just been repurposed and
That
repackaged.
that being said though, I don't actually hate them. They are a fun watch. But again, that's what they are. They're a fun watch. They're not meant to be taken too seriously. They're not meant to be like, oh my God, these are amazing. So for anybody following up, with Jason Statham, we have A Working Man, where again he plays the exact same thing, and he's just pretty much he's been taken in by this couple, and they ended up their daughter gets stolen, so he goes after them.
Yeah.
Mutiny, which I haven't actually heard of, but it says here after his billionaire industrialist boss is murdered in front of him, Cole Reed, Joseph Stratham, is set up to take the fall for the crime, leaving him on the run for uncover international conspiracy. So same kind of thing. We have obviously Fast X, The Beekeeper 2. Yes. I want it to be called The Beekeeper 2, Back in the Hive. And George, there's something stupid like that. Or Let the Honeycomb Fall. And then we obviously also have an untitled Jason Stratham thriller, it says. A recluse on a remote Scottish island rescues a girl from sea, unleashing perilous sequence of events that culminate in an attack on his home, compelling him to face turbulent history.
It's all terrible. It's all terrible. It's all terrible. I'm sorry, it is. The fact is that the last good movie I thought he did. I didn't mind The Meg. I like The Meg. And The Meg 2 is a bit of a, yeah. I think,
What about Wrath of Man?
Wrath of Man. Which one was that?
Have you seen that? I think it's another Guy Ritchie one.
No, I don't think I have seen that one,
Oh, it's a
actually.
good watch.
Oh, okay.
And then what about Expendables 4?
Oh, no, honestly, don't get me wrong, right? I loved Expendables 1. I got that. That worked brilliantly, and I thought it was
Number
really
2
good.
was good, where they brought in Norris and also
Yeah,
Arnie and stuff.
yeah, but it was kind of like, it was like, really, are we going to have an entire franchise where they just keep peddling them out just because there's now a new, older action actor that we can now add to the list? It was getting ridiculous, sort of thing. So they should have stopped at 2 if it was going to stop it. But yeah, the 1 was fine. 2 was good.
I think they should have. I thought they should have rounded out the trilogy. 4, I was like, I get they're trying to bring in these new sort of new word action films, but I'm like, nah.
No,
No, but I don't know what you're talking about. I actually really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was nice without the senseless violence or the sake of it. It had some humor sprinkled in there. It did just feel like an early 2000 action films that was fun, that had characters. They developed the characters well. Yeah, true. Some of it was a bit cliche and some of it was a bit that, but it was a lot of fun to watch. Like if you're going in here to be like, this is going to win an Academy Award, no, not a chance. But if you want like a fun kind of like early 2000, late 19, I guess 1900s, I don't know, 1990s sort of film, this is a lot of fun. And especially if you're watching it with somebody that may be even 12, 13, it hasn't got all that gore that you'd expect to come. Like, it's not like John Wick killing 75,000 people over a dog. And don't get me wrong, I would do it too if anybody
Yes.
touched any dog of mine.
Yes,
But you know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like, there's films now where I feel like I've seen people get their head blown out for no apparent reason. I'm like, does that really need to be there? Like, it doesn't add anything to the story. I think you're just trying to make it gory for the sake of making it gory.
I have to say, I thought it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think one thing that they maybe went wrong with that they could have fixed. I don't think Kyle Chandler was the best big bad as having the bad guy sort of thing. Because I like Kyle Chandler. I don't mind him as an actor, especially in the Godzilla movies and Slumberland. I mean, he was in Slumberland a few years ago.
Yeah.
That one was quite good as well. So I like him but him as a big bad, he's not. He doesn't have that sort of
He
presence, in my
he
opinion.
he doesn't though, but I do like the way they use him. So we are getting into much bigger spoiler territory here,
Yeah.
so just FYI. But Kyle Chandler is actually the handler of Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx in the movie, or Matt and Emily, depending on how you're following along. Then in it, he realizes, oh, they've been caught on videotape protecting, I think it was their daughter from a nightclub, and it went viral. And then he saw it and he's like, how long is it going to take people to find you if I can find you? And while he's standing at their doorstep trying to usher them out, he gets shot in the neck and
Yes.
drops. And then all these other people get out of cars. And that's the end of Kyle Chandler. Or so you think.
Yeah.
Later in the movie, it does come back that he actually orchestrated all this to get money, obviously because he's been let go because it was a fail and all this other stuff. And I do like the way they handled it. I thought it was quite clever, and actually having him shot
Oh yeah,
really did
that
flip it
was
on
a
its
good
head.
twist. I did like that, but as I said, I just don't think he was the best for being a big bad. I just don't think he has the presence for it. I think they could have utilized someone else a bit better.
Yeah,
Sort
but I
of
think
thing.
they did that because he is somebody that is ornately good, but obviously he's been screwed over. He's losing money. He's doing this, so he's just trying to get some self-respect back, be able to do this. And I think you kind of see that in him, where there's still these human elements of him. He doesn't play the big bad, but he kind of plays a good guy that's been corrupted or needs to, or is doing this more out of, in his own mind, necessity. And I think that the way that was handled was very clever, because I'm like, that's pretty much what you wanted. I don't think you wanted necessarily a big bad that was going to come in and just nuke the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I must say, on the run, it was a bit of fun. And I was a little bit worried about halfway through the film, because obviously Emily and Matt are on the run. And then you're kind of like, are they just going to keep doing like these little stupid things all around?
Yes.
And then comes in the hero of this film,
No,
Glenn
Joe.
Close.
Nigel.
Glenn Close.
No, Nigel. Nigel's the hero of this
Nigel.
film.
Nigel, obviously, who's obviously a training MI6 person, or so he believes. But no, when they go over to Glenn Close's house, who is actually Cameron Diaz's mum in the film, and her little boy toy Nigel, who looks like he's about 25, 30. He wants to be an MI6 agent or a covert operative because Glenn Close was, and obviously they were. And he is just a bumbling buffoon that somehow occasionally gets things right. And it's hilarious. But when that happens, Glenn Close is brilliant. Nigel is just a barrel of laughs, but still adds to the storyline. He's not just there for the sake of getting some laughs. The kids obviously get picked up and taken by Chuck, and their kids are actually quite funny overall. And I think I think overall though, but Nigel was funny, but I think it was good that he wasn't funny for the sake of just being funny. He didn't feel like a throwaway character, though he kind of was in a way, but they kind of kept him in part of the storyline, which was really cool.
Yeah. Now, I was actually while you were delivering that beautifully, I was just having a look through Glenn Close's filmography just to see all, and just the amount of things this woman has done is ridiculous.
Has she made a bad film? Like, I don't feel like she has that much.
Well, if we go via Rotten Tomato scoring, let's see what have we got. The Deliverance is up there.
What Deliverance?
The Deliverance.
Oh, I don't
never
know.
heard of it. 2024. Oh, she was in Cruella. Yes, I did like her in that. That was a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Is there a worse
got a
one?
5.
There is. Father Figures is a worse one according to the ratings. So
I
I
haven't
think,
seen that.
what the hell is Father Figures? Oh my god, it's got Owen Wilson in it and stuff like that as well. God forbid.
Well, what's weird too though is she's actually got. I think she's got a TV series coming out and 3 more movies still in the works. So we're going to still get to see a lot of her.
Yeah.
Baba Yaga, that was pretty cool.
Baba Yaga. Yeah, but so she's done loads and still working. God forbid, which is good to see. So
yeah, so for anyone at home, she's released 99 films, or she's appeared 99 in 99 different shows or movies. Been producer 17 times, and she's got about another 5 coming out. One of them is just an appearance in a series. One of them looks like 8 episodes of a series and 3 more movies to come out. So all up 104. Not a bad innings for young Glenn Close.
Yeah, no, it's one of the. I mean, I'm just actually. I mean, to be fair, it looks like according to on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm not the only one who doesn't like this movie. There's lots of low scorings, even half-star ones. People commenting saying, "Why can't I submit 0?" It's really bad. So it's just there's some people who really like it and some people who really don't like it, sort of thing. So it's not shocking. As I said, I feel like that this movie was a bit of a rip-off of The Family Plan because I liked that one. That and don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of Mark Wahlberg because again, he plays the same character in every single goddamn movie he does. But it's I mean, I just preferred that one seemed a bit more thought out, sort of thing in comparison.
I think the good thing with that too, though, is that one obviously is one of them's a spy, one of them's unbeknownst to this and just thinks he's a nice guy that is a bit of a daggy dad.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he starts raining hell on people, which is, and don't be wrong, Family Plan, great film. And this is very much in that same vein. But I feel like this feels like more of an adventure sort of action, kind of like you would in a almost like a National Treasure style one where it keeps you guessing. Yeah. Obviously, the chase is there, and you're constantly feeling that these things are moving forward. I don't know. I felt like it was a really fun watch. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just a lot of silly fun. The pacing was really nice in it, where they obviously took some time away. Obviously, I did find it funny that kids and their electronics got them caught the first time, which is such a funny thing because you are like, it's like, give me your phones, all right, and then you can connect to the internet on the Switch or on his GameCube or whatever he had, and I'm just like, there's these little nuances that just beautifully bring in the old world with the new world. Like obviously they're CIA, they're like, they can track our phone, so they take the phone. not realizing that obviously all this other stuff. And I felt like it was this really nice balance of that. And there were the way they tied in the ebbs and flows of how people found them and different things like that. I actually found was quite nice. And I felt like it was a nice, enjoyable watch. I think it went for about an hour and a half, a little bit over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I personally just felt like it was just a good, easy watch. Curl up on the couch, get some popcorn, and I found it really fun.
Yeah. Well, as I said, out of 10, I'm giving this movie a 2. That's all. That's where I'm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just didn't enjoy. I thought it was all right, but it didn't do anything for me, this movie at all. So I was rating it low.
Wow.
Even Elle was like, it's all right, but it wasn't as good as she thought it was going to be, sort of thing. So that's the reason why I'm rating it low, man. Just can't didn't go on board with it at all.
Really? I don't know. Like I don't know. I found it like a lot of fun. I thought it was. I honestly think though that, judging from the fact this was number one, it may have got a few bad reviews. Like it's got a 6 on IMDb, or a 5.9 technically on IMDb, and I would probably give it closer to a 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
Because I just thought it was a lot of fun. I like the pacing. I like the way they did it. I like the vibe of, obviously, and the chemistry of Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. I love Glenn Close, how she loved, obviously, Jamie Foxx, because obviously he's the son-in-law, this, that, and the other. But then there's also that hardship between them and Cameron Diaz, the balance between the 3 generations on how they realise that the other's tree. There were a lot of little nuances in this film that I feel like some people may miss in the first watch, or they may need to, but it was just this really nice balance of action with comedy with a nice pacing on it. Obviously nowadays we're used to like The Beekeeper, where all he does is just destroy everybody, then moves from one fight to the next, to the next, to the next, with little to no setup. Where I felt like this gave it that more adventure action film rather than just the action thriller or the action film that you expect.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I found it. But yeah, I felt like this was a lot of fun, and I thought it was just a nice, silly watch that I think we watched one rainy Friday afternoon before it got to like 40 degrees, which it has been for like the last like week and a half, 2 weeks.
Honestly, God forbid your weather's all over the place. It's funny as anything. Yeah,
it's nuts. I was gonna say, so you watch this. Have you watched any other ones on Netflix? Because there is one.
I watched. What was it I watched the other day? I watched the Mission Impossible. What is it? The one that's the new one's coming out, and it's a city. You know, it's a 2-parter. Oh, what's it called?
I haven't seen Mission Impossible for a while.
Oh,
the last one I saw this.
To be fair, they should have stopped making Mission Impossible after the first one, because the first one is the best one in my opinion. I love it, but yeah, it was to be fair though, it's more just a Tom Cruise, like just Tom Cruise do all his own stunts and just let him get crazier and crazier until eventually he kills himself, and that Mission Impossible becomes Mission No More Possible. Yes.
No longer possible.
Yeah. So, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. That's the one I watched, and it was again very mediocre. So again, it's like the Fast and the Furious movies. The fact is, they're just plodding them out, and it's like, seriously, can we just stop?
And they're just trying to get them bigger and bigger. It's just like, let's just do the more crazy and crazy stunts with limited storyline.
One I will say, I saw a trailer this week, and it actually, you know, when you don't want to see it, but you kind of are a bit interested. Have you seen the teaser trailer for Freakier Friday?
Oh, somebody
the
was
sequel
saying
to
that.
Freak Friday. So
Yeah,
and and with the fact that we got Lindsay Lohan back for it. Lindsay Lohan's come back to it.
She's done a few movies now. She seems to be trying to come back into a little bit more, back into where she left off now that she's clean and sober and all that. Which is great to see, because I loved her as an actor. I remember seeing her. I remember watching begrudgingly with my sister Parent Trap at the movies.
Yep.
Because she wanted to go see it, and none of her friends would. So my mum's like, "Can you go take her?" And I was like, "Oh." But she was actually really good in that, and seeing her in a few other things as they came up was actually really good. But yeah, it will be good to see that. But I must say, I was saying that there's another film on Netflix that I do recommend you guys watch if you haven't already.
Oh, what?
It's a lot of fun. It came out the other thing, and I think it might be better than this, and I think that Jordan might actually enjoy this one, which I know is weird to say. Have you seen a film called Carry On?
Carry on. It rings a bell. Hang on. Let me have a look.
So it's the blonde guy from The Kingsman.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. This is meant to be like Die Hard, isn't it?
it is.
Someone said it's
sick.
meant to be like a new version of the Die Hard franchise. That's where
I
someone
don't know if it's
described
a
it to
new
me, and I was
version of
like,
it,
oh
but
yeah, okay, I'll have to watch it.
it is so good. This one I think you'll find you'll enjoy a lot more.
Yeah.
The Taron Egerton and stuff. But so the premise behind this one is obviously he's a TSA agent, and they're trying to get on Christmas Eve, and they're trying to get this thing through security. Obviously, they've got that, which is good. They get blackmailed, and this guy's trying to get it through. Halfway through the movie, you find out who the baddie is, and he does a fantastic job. Few people die. You tend to find this thing. It is a really good movie and has you guessing for most of it. And the other one that really interests me that I haven't seen yet, but I have downloaded, is The Electric State with Billy Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt. That could be all kinds of horrible.
Okay.
It's like a sci-fi action. I want to watch it. It sounds like it's a bit of fun.
The Electric State.
So The Electric State has obviously Chris Pratt
Oh,
and
I saw we saw a trailer. Well, not a trailer. You know when you're scrolling through Netflix, and we saw that, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks a bit of me," sort of thing. But
Yeah.
I haven't. I've put it on my list because I will probably watch it. Might be watching it tonight. You never know, sort of thing.
yeah. So obviously Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, obviously Data's in it. Yes,
Yes, we love
my mate
that.
Data.
We love that.
Stanley Tucci, Anthony Mackie, Woody Harrelson in this film that is also done by the Russo brothers.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually done by the Russo brothers, and it's kind of got this sci-fi kind of robotic, kind of really creepy, kind of cool element to it. Whereas there's an orphan teen hits the road with a mysterious robot to find her long lost brother, teaming up with smugglers and wisecracking sidekicks.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like Chris Pratt, who kind of looks like he's out of a hair metal 80s band with a massive chopper mustache. And there's like robots in some of it, but they're using like Mr. Peanut and all these things
Yeah.
that were obviously old school. I don't know what it's going to be like, but it does sound like a stupid amount of fun. It also scored a 6, which was the same as what.
Well, it's on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics have given it 15%, whereas the audience has given it 75. That's again, as we all know, the fact is when the critics really don't like something, it's hilarious how they've got it wrong so badly, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to definitely go watch that. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah, that and the other one was that we watched just recently, which was a Sky original, was also Fight or Flight
Fight or Flight.
with Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett is this
God,
strung
is
out.
he back? Is he back?
Yeah, I love that he's back. He was so good, and I know that he copped a lot of flack, and he was obviously. It is weird though because he was called a heartthrob, and he didn't like to be sexualized because he found like a lot of his roles he was just the pretty boy kind of thing.
Yes, he was.
So he kind of stepped away. Now he's come back, and this one gives me real Bullet Train vibes. So Fight or Flight is pretty much there's this hacker called the Ghost. They've tracked her or him down to the to a flight. So they've put him on there as he's a excommunicated. I think it's like what's the Secret Service agent that he got booted after killing Department of Defense's brother while he was hitting a girl and he couldn't help it, so he went in there and shot him, and then he got excommunicated. They've ended up throwing him on this flight and saying, just find who it is and bring them back. While he's on the flight, he finds out that it's been linked to the dark web, and almost every single person on the flight's a killer from a different group that the Ghost has actually pissed off. This one is a lot more gory. This one is a hell of a lot more gory.
This one looks very interesting, so I think I'm definitely gonna have to watch this. So
this one is definitely one of those action films where it is a bit of gore. That being said, watching Josh Hartnett lift this guy up, not realizing there's a sprinkler above him, and then dropping him as the top of his head kind of comes out, you're like, that's the first person he kills. You're like, okay, this is probably going to be a little bit more bloody and guts. But that was a film that I watched that was. I really enjoyed that. That was a ridiculous one. But I reckon Carry On, Fight or Flight is another really good one. And I feel like I feel like this Electric State one is going to be one of those films where it's either going to be really, really good
Yeah.
or just really, really confusing and just be a bit blah.
Oh well, I'll have to watch it and we'll report back on that next week and see what we think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then
but
the other one,
I
the
did.
other
I
one that
just
I'm
said I did see the images, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks a bit alright," sort of thing. I was
yeah.
like, "Yeah,
Did you end up watching The Gorge?
yeah." We watched the Gorge. We talked about the Gorge.
Did we?
Yes, we talked about it 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God. And the other one that I was also wanting to watch, which I've just also downloaded, was Mikey 17
Oh yeah, no,
with Robert.
that looks interesting. Me and Elle,
Where,
I don't know if Elle wants to see that or not, sort of thing.
yeah.
We're going to discuss, but
It's got a weird premise. So obviously you sign yourself over and it stars Robert Pattinson, and then what happens is every time you die, they just reclone you and just print you out. And then they throw you into all these like harrowing things to try to like help stop a war. And they just keep printing you out.
yeah, pretty much.
And it's kind of bizarre. And the last piece of news I did want to share, which is going to be a little bit heartbreaking for many, especially for myself that actually quite loved this series. But Sony has decided to remake Starship Troopers.
Yes. Oh god. Yeah. No. I tell you what. It is popped up all over the bloody Helldivers groups everywhere, and everyone's livid. Nobody wants them to go anywhere near it. Quite frankly, and I agree. He shouldn't be touched.
I miss blue-eyed Casper Van Dien, that little heartthrob that kind of gets more and more ruggedly handsome as the films go on, even though he does the less. That being said, though, I'm not like I don't like it. I'm annoyed that it is.
Yeah.
That they're redoing it because I think it was such a great franchise. Obviously, number 2 was funny, where it was literally filmed in like a small stage and just a green screen. That one was just the funny one. But it is going to be led by the director from District 9. Which gives me some hope. Because District 9 I thought was a great film. It kind of had that real grittiness to it.
Okay.
But even then, I'm still like... And I think he also he did District 9. I think he also did Chappie as well, which is another cool little film like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not... I like that they're heading in that direction with somebody that I think could do it quite well, but I just feel like all they're going to do is just make it a bit more gritty, a bit too serious, and not enough co-ed showers.
Yeah. No. I am looking forward to that. Funnily enough, the other thing I know that a lot of people have been really peed off about this week is the new, because obviously the new Lilo and Stitch trailer got released.
And I
and
haven't seen that one yet.
Well, people aren't happy because, of course, everyone wants. Basically, they're now trying to stir enough trouble because remember what happened with the original Sonic movie, and because we all saw the way it looked and we all went, "Dear Lord, no, please don't do this to our boy." And we all agreed on that, right? That was universal agreement that one needs to be redone. Okay, and they redid it. They made him look like how he's meant to look, and it was all fine. We can all move on past that. Great. On this one, he does look quite similar, but everyone's slightly not happy because he's not exactly how he should look. So there's lots of people who are saying, "We've done it once, let's do it again." And it's like, no, we can't do it twice. We've got to save it. We've got to save the second one for when something truly horrific's happened.
What is it that's so bad? Like, what?
It's just because he doesn't look exact. And well, for start off, like Stitch doesn't look 100% like he does in the animation, obviously, because obviously he's gone from a 2D to a 3D, so that thing's going to change. But also the things like Pleakley in it, when they're using holograms to disguise themselves, so rather than having an alien dressing up to disguise itself, but of course they've chosen a man to be his hologram rather than whereas in the original movie Pleakley clearly has feminine traits, but they're trying not to have that now, and so because obviously it's Disney and it's going to send a mixed message and blah 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 blah. So they're obviously like, no, we'll make it a man. So we've got a man voicing it. He's got a hologram as a man. That's what's going to happen. And so people have lost their mind over that as well. So there's just so far because Lilo and Stitch is my favorite Disney movie of all time.
It is one. It has to be one of them. It's really, it's definitely up there. See, I'm watching it now, and I'm like, I don't think he looks that bad.
No, I don't. I actually don't think it's that bad either. Don't get me wrong, is it perfect? No, but the fact is that I think in terms of adapting an animation to a live action, especially one like this, I think is going to work fine. Anyway, essentially, I hope to God that they haven't changed much of the storyline. I hope they keep all the funny stuff in. I know that they are starting to do their promos, like, because the original Lilo and Stitch, when they were doing all the trailers for it, he was invading all the other Disney movies. And which was hilarious. And they've started it like they did the Super Bowl one where he burst onto the field and he took the ball and he ran with it and he was being chased down. And I think that's great, but just do that in terms of more of Disney movies, like having turn up and wreck the Thunderbolts movie or something like that. That would be funny. Sort of thing.
It would be great, and I must say it does have the feel that I wanted for Lilo and Stitch, and Lilo is just adorable with those like big Polynesian chubby cheeks. Like you can see. I think I don't know, like, and then obviously there does seem to be a lot of obviously real Hawaiian culture on here, which is quite beautiful. I do like the way they've actually done it, but I don't necessarily hate. Yeah, I don't necessarily hate the design of it.
Yeah, agreed. Honestly, I hope it. I mean, literally, to be fair, if they just copy the movie from start to finish from the other one, it'll be fine. But obviously, they're not going to do that. They're going to adapt it in some way. So I pray to God they don't change too much. That's all I hope, as I said. But yeah. But yeah. All right. Right. What we'll do, we'll wrap it up there, seeing as though we're now just discussing movie trailers more than anything. But
it is good because I didn't know that there was so much hate around this, and obviously after we spoke about it, I went to Facebook and saw it, and it does look like a lot of fun, and I'm like, I don't really get why people are understanding. I must say though, there was a little bit of heartache when that poor girl got fired or stood down because she was Hawaiian, but she wasn't Hawaiian enough.
Oh yeah, God.
And there's a few of them where I'm like, but she's Hawaiian. Yeah, but she doesn't look Hawaiian. I was like,
yeah. But to be fair, you got to remember that people have also been bitching about the new Shrek, the little Shrek teaser that popped up, because because the big problem is that Shrek looks old now. He looks a lot older because he is. In terms of the timeline that they've gone with, of course, years have passed since the last Shrek movie. So he's aged, and of course, it's just people aren't happy. They're like, no, put him back to normal. It's like, no, you can't. You've got to age him in some way, So
you know what I hope they do, and this would be funny, is in like one of the trailers.
What?
Be like, have like a little thing where it's like Fiona's like, wow, you're looking old. Maybe you should use some moisturizer or something, and then just have him as a joke come in with like Botox and big lips and looking like one of the Real Housewives. I'm like, that would be funny.
Well, basically, it's but basically there is something like that. It's the magic mirror showing an altered image, like someone's done an altered image. I think it was Pinocchio did it, and Fiona walks over and says, "Oh, it's like, hey, mama, like," but of course she's talking about the image, not him, and it's really stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap it up there. I want to say a big thank you to all our recent likes and subscribes. Make sure you do follow, and you can see our beautiful faces on Spotify as well as YouTube at Dorks Down Under. Please make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. As I said, it does help us with all the algorithm and everything else. So we will be back. I'll watch The Electric State, and we'll be back next week, and we'll discuss that. Hopefully, it's a better movie. Surely, it can't be any worse.
I haven't seen it yet, but I must say that looks like it could be a lot of fun. But I would say I want to see what you think of Carry On.
All right, I'll have to find a moment to watch Carry On sort of thing. In fact, I can probably watch it during the week at some point. But yeah, definitely. But apart from that, peace out until next time, folks. We look forward to seeing you again next week.